Okay, good evening, everybody. This is October 27th. It's a Tuesday rather than our usual Monday meeting. And I'm calling to order the meeting of the Master Plan Implementation Committee at 7:04. And we have a quorum tonight, but we're probably going to be missing a couple of our members. But Cindy Palmer's here, Brittany Taylor, Francine Tishman, and myself, Chris Fowles. And as usual, we are continuing to meet via Zoom due to the ongoing COVID pandemic and Governor Baker's orders, basically not allowing in-person meetings and enabling us to be able to carry on these meetings remotely. So nothing has changed, unfortunately, in that situation. Jim may be a little bit late tonight, and Christina's out of town, and our consultant Ken Comia will be joining us shortly. So with that, I don't think we have any members of the public hanging out. Don't know why we never do, but we don't seem to have any. But that's okay. So then let's take a look at the minutes, and I think I can pull them up if all is well. That would be a question. Okay, let me hang on a second. I'm going to share the stupid screen. Okay, here we go. So these were the minutes, just to refresh our minds, because this meeting was actually October 1st. So it's been quite a while since we've gotten together. And since then, we've gotten the resignation from Margaret. So basically, with Christina and Jim, we are 6 members now. And then this was basically the meeting where Ken started to do some background sharing with us in terms of what he had tried to do with some cross tabulation, but was having difficulty with admitting that he wasn't necessarily overly familiar with some of the cross tabbing. And unfortunately, the SurveyMonkey program that we used did not allow for cross-tabbing easily by its lonesome. So he had to actually convert all sorts of data into an Excel sheet to try and do this. So basically, this was our meeting notes here. We went through that, and at the time, we had an early draft of a PowerPoint, and we were planning that Ken would, with any luck, be on the October 20th schedule for Select Board to present at least the basic results of the survey. And we were going to meet again on, I believe, and Cindy, I may still have this as the one uncorrected version here. This was our next meeting was going to have been actually Tuesday, October 13th, not Thursday. So I don't know if you'd already made that correction.
I did not. Okay.
So there's one. So it's a Tuesday rather than a Thursday. But other than that, so that was the meeting. Oops, hello, what's that? Go away. Okay. All right. Anybody have any thoughts or questions on the minutes, or can we move to approve those?
I'll move to approve.
Yeah.
I'll move to approve the minutes with the one correction of the date.
Okay, thanks. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
All right. All those in favor, roll call, please.
Palmer, yes.
Taylor, aye.
Tishman, aye.
Fowles, aye. Okay, minutes are approved unanimously. Thank you very much. And let me get out of this now. Hold on. Okay. And so with that, we were going to have met with the expectation that Ken would have had a presentation for the 20th. We were going to meet on the 13th of October. However, it came to my realization looking over stuff that we weren't really ready to do that, to have our presentation to Select Board. We still had further questions to write out on the survey itself. So I actually canceled that meeting, and thus we have tonight's meeting. So we have to set a new time with Ken when he's on in terms of his availability for hopefully a presentation to Select Board. And I think one of the things we'll need to talk about just briefly tonight is the notion of whether we want to make that a joint meeting with Planning Board given that Planning Board is the one that really sponsored us to get this grant from PVPC. It seems like we probably need to do that, but we can talk about that when Ken gets online here. So with that, the other things that we were going to do, let me see if I wanted to pull up in between time. When Ken said that he had some issues just understanding how to do cross-tabbing fairly well, and I don't admit that I understand a lot of it myself, or the techniques behind it. We did reach out to a couple of our young whippersnappers here in town, our IT gurus, to help us out, and landed on actually Dan Breen, who is the husband of one of our Concom members, who's an IT person, and he did his best to try and work out a few things for us. And I'm going to see if I can bring that. Oh, I do have it. Good. If I can bring that one up. Okay. Let me see if I can share that screen. I think I do have that one too. So with a little luck, just wanted to show you what he tried to do, and I'm not sure how much it's going to be of help to us. It's nothing to hold us up as far as I'm concerned. Dan had put in all that raw data, as you may remember, and then Ken had, and now Dan Breen had tried to take a look at one of the questions, for example, land use compared to years lived here in town. And is this need to be a little bit bigger for you all? Or is
Yeah, please, a little bit.
Let me see if I can do that. That's a good question. Of course, can I do that? Zoom, 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 zoom. Easier said than done. Okay.
You just got rid of the header at the top?
Yeah, no. Let me just scroll it over here. Let's see. Well, I'm not seeing a zoom thing.
Yeah, I don't see anything either.
No, I'm not seeing it. Sorry, guys. But it's basically these graphs here. So the years in Southampton, I can forward this if you're really interested in looking at it. But basically this question, so how many years you've been a resident of Southampton, and these were the years here with 0 to 5 at the bottom on up to 41 to 50 years. And then the dark red is strongly oppose on down to the dark blue, which is strongly support, and then the neutral being in there. So let me just see if I can manipulate this at all to do anything with it.
So that specific question is related to changes in zoning.
I believe so. This was the one, yeah, this first one. So making no changes in zoning didn't really tell us too much. I don't know, some of the people that haven't been here very long might not have understood what all that would have been like if they were newcomers to town. Probably the biggest answer was right in here, which would have been people in the 11 to 20, having lived here 11 to 20 years was the largest answer in terms of strongly support, not making any changes, just leaving it alone, for example. So I'm not sure that this, gets us any real stellar information. There's two questions that we kind of looked at for us. So this was one. This was the cluster development. And again, I think you remember as we struggled with, putting the questionnaire together, we struggled a little bit with how much definition to give people. And we kind of backed off some of the definitions, but I wonder in some ways that, this one especially is a bit technical, and I don't know whether people really grasp the idea of this or not very well. But people that have, let's see, so people that had lived here the longest amount of time, let's see, they were kind of on the low end of support. The strongly support ones were the people that had been here 6 to 10 years. The way I see this.
And 41 to 50
41 to
wasn't far
50.
behind it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, right. So it's like I say, I'm not sure that it tells us a lot, but higher density homes on smaller lots, duplexes. And here again, we've got actually the interesting, the people that have lived here the longest were the most opposed to that. This dark red here
Yeah.
were the ones that strongly opposed. This kind of, again, the 6 to 10 age years in town were kind of the more favorable toward it, but nothing really that, you know, makes me wonder about it too much. And maybe this is something that, you know, eventually, you know, whether this tab, for example, could be useful for planning or eventually for the Housing Commission, you know, we could certainly pass off these individual things for further analysis at a committee level rather than having them as part of our report per se. Let's see, lower density housing in selected locations to preserve rural character. Strong support on the 51 plus and the 0 to 5 plus. So both ends of the scale was where the support really was, which is kind of interesting. I think that may be a thing that, you know, talks about the people that have lived here the longest. That's what they like about living in town, as well as perhaps the attraction for people moving to town.
But the variation is not very significant in
No.
all the age groups.
Yeah.
And we might be talking just a few people, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's possible. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is I'm not sure that, you know, what we have is anything really statistically, you know, whatever. Let's go down to the water supply one. That was kind of an interesting one here. So limit development to the capacity of our town's water supply. And again, the biggest strongly support was the 41 to 50 in terms of strongly support, I guess. And for
say 34 to 31 to 40.
yeah.
And 51 plus, they seem very close. That those
Yeah.
top
So
three.
again, you know, people that have lived here the longer, you know, really probably have a better appreciation of the issues with our water and our limited resources in that regard. But again, I don't know that we've got anything statistically, you know, jumping off the page at us. Let me just jump to the other one about the strategies, because I think this one maybe, if I can find this. Here we go. Hold on a second. Okay, so this is the, if you remember, so again, it's the years in town, and why can't this move forward? And then this would be the strongly support the dark blue, strongly oppose the dark red. So this was the public utility one. Not a whole lot of variation really in terms of the years in town, although in a way it's the 41 to 50, they seem to be the strongest in favor of it, right? 41 to 50 and the 0 to 5, I guess, would be the two that seem to be strongly in favor of a new broadband capability.
Yes.
Is there any way to do this like ranked choice voting?
Well, this, if we go back and look at this, remember, this is one where people, you know, it wasn't that they did have a chance to, you know, put in the strongly opposed to the strongly support. So it was kind of a sliding scale. It wasn't really a ranked choice, but I think he did that, and we'll go into the report in just
No,
a second.
I mean for reporting purposes.
Yes. Yeah, I think there is, and I think he has that in our final report a little bit.
Okay.
So, but I just wanted to show you what we had tried to do for cross-tabbing, and these were the two main questions that we just tried to figure out, not necessarily by age, demographically, but more by years in town and what people sort of valued.
Well, that sort of translates into age as well.
Yeah, well, I guess it could. I guess it could. So the one that so here was the public safety complex, buy land to build a public safety complex. Those that had been here the longest seem to have the most support for that. In terms of the dark blues.
Mhm.
Where are we here? Sorry.
I have to tell you, I'm impressed that we have more for than against in some of these areas where I thought the opposition would have been stronger.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Not a whole lot of, overwhelming variation on the public sewer, water provision. They're all kind of in that neighborhood there. This is the one on buying land to preserve open space. So again, the newest newcomers to town are probably the strongest in support of that, just barely.
Yeah, but that sort of tells me that if you're a newcomer to town, you came because you like our rural character and our open space.
Yeah.
That's how I would see that too. Exactly. I would say the same thing. Yeah. And then quickly just repurposing an existing municipal building that was heavily supported by the over 50 range. I mean, in terms of being here the longest, people that have lived here the longest would like to see that happen for some sort of a multi-use meeting center or community center. And I'm trying to find, here's the bike path one. Okay, so here's the bike path one. So that's
Oh, yes.
quite a bit of support there. So anyway, so I just wanted to show you that's, the level of cross-tabbing we tried to do. And like I say, I think it can be useful eventually to individual community committees. I keep saying communities, individual committees as they get into looking at maybe their role with working on the plan, but I don't know how much of that he may be able to weave some of that into the report and have something like this as an annex that could be useful, but we'll let him sort of think about what he might like to do about that. Okay, and then the very last thing, just wanted to show you that we do have the I keep doing this first, sorry guys. I gotta do my share button first, I always forget. We do have the results of the survey. Did I just lose it? I bet I just lost it. Well, anyway, I think I lost it off my screen. Anyway, the results of the survey, the basic results are up on the town website now. So if you go to the homepage and then you scroll down under elections and under Halloween, and you'll find a little paragraph I wrote, and then there's the community engagement survey is just in bold. And so hopefully people will click on the bold and it will take them right into the survey. So they will see that entire thing, which should be of use to some people at least. That's about it. So that's what I just wanted to catch us up on here in terms of documents. And that's about that.
Can I ask a question at this point in terms of catching up? I know Ken comes on and I reviewed what he had emailed us, but is he going to utilize any of this cross-tabulation data in his presentation or
I don't believe so. Don't believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think so. I did send it to him, but I don't think he's going to put it in that. And I think that would be a little bit cumbersome, probably. So I'm hoping that when he comes on, he's going to just, kind of run through his presentation for us and see if we have any thoughts about that. So I'm hoping that he'll.
Do we need to talk about what, you made the point that this cross-tabulation of data could be useful to individual committees.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do? Are we going to send it off to the individual committees, or are we going to wait and talk about it later?
I think I'd want to wait until at least we do the presentation. I guess the committees, that would be the most interested would be something in terms of, the partly the land use thing. So that would be planning board, I guess, and then probably housing would be the two from what we had here as cross tabs. That would probably be the two that would be the most interested in anything, would be my guess. Yeah. Cindy, your thought? Or
Oh, yeah, housing, open space would be interested in some of that cross tabulation data. Also, it might lend to a recommendation that we create or revive an energy committee. We talked about that before because of the things about the broadband, et cetera. So that could come out as a recommendation, you know.
Well, and then you have the newly proposed technology ad
Right.
hoc committee too. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah, that one would probably pick up on the broadband one eventually. I don't know. We'll see. That's more focused on trying to help out town hall in terms of its IT issues and just be an
Yeah.
advisor on that regard. But that would be a natural outgrowth if they were to be more interested too in exploring some of that broadband stuff. But yeah, you're right. There was an energy committee at one point in time, and the solar question was on here too, which I think was fairly favorable in its own right. I'm going to see
Yes.
if I can pull up. If I can do that. Well, we saw the survey last time, but I think if I don't know if I go out of here, if I can pull that up real quick without losing you all. So I think I'll not try that. Anyway, but I guess so that would be one thing, would be at least to wait until we do the presentation to select board, I think. I mean, planning guys, you meet every, what, 2 weeks, do you? And
Yeah, we do. Planning board meets twice monthly, except during the summer months.
yeah,
I do know we got some hot things on the, you know, on the burner
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, this should not hold off. And, you know, in terms of my report to the planning board and the fact that they sponsored the DLTA grant,
yeah,
we need to give
Okay.
something concrete to them. Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, that's what I was figuring too, that, you know, they probably have got a full agenda on things anyway before we get involved. And I know housing met recently. I'm not sure how soon again they meet. Do you happen to know, Francine, offhand? Must be another couple of weeks. I think they just met recently, I believe. Housing committee.
no, I think they, let me just take a quick look. They might,
One thing I do know about housing, Francine, are you the liaison to housing?
no.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
so
Nobody is.
I saw an email. Well, this is interesting. I saw an email from a town resident because the housing commission had on an agenda that they wanted to do a joint meeting with select board and excuse me, with planning board. And one of the things they wanted to talk about was reconsideration of the inclusionary housing
Oh,
zoning bylaw.
oh, interesting. Yeah.
And this resident was questioning some of the rationale behind that.
Uh-huh.
So as far as I know, and the answer is as far as I know, because I don't necessarily see everything, I don't think it's come to request that joint meeting with the planning board yet. It may have, but I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, they're meeting next on November 2nd, next
Okay.
Monday.
All right. Well, we can think about that and see whether we think this is useful. It's kind of hard to, you know, without having been involved. Well, I guess, you know, Jim would be involved too, but not even being here tonight. But let me think about that. If you think it's worth, you know, trying to hand out ahead of time, we could do that. But I just don't think it's going to be a necessarily urgent item on your agenda. And then we might wait until later in November after we've had the presentation to select board, was my original thought. But
Well, actually, I'm not sure I entirely agree with that. I think if Jim gets in here, we should share it with him, but I think he'd find it useful to have it for this November 2nd meeting, given that what I just said, this
Okay.
idea that they want to go forward, have a joint meeting with this planning board, and having this information could be useful to them.
Okay. All right. Well, there's nothing secret about it. It's just a little bit complicated to look at and figure out what you're looking at. That's more than anything else. So it's a little bit
So Chris, I
convoluted.
realize this is outside of the open meeting law, but if you want me to text him to be sure he joins this meeting tonight, I know he's got some family issues, but.
No, that's okay. I mean, I'm sure if he will join when he can. I mean,
Okay. Okay.
It sounded like he had some things that he had to deal with, so
Yes.
that's fine. So while we're waiting for Ken, I guess my other thought was, if we think there might be, I mean, what Ken is gonna be doing, and I'm hoping we got at least a month of him, this whole grant ends in December, and certainly he's put in a lot more time and work. He's just texting me right now. Hang on. Time and work than we might have guessed. Wow, they haven't started talking about his project yet. Oh my. He may not be on for 15 more minutes. Wow. Okay, what do we do there? Because I don't, I don't want to hold on to a meeting when we really have nothing to discuss except Ken's presentation here.
And that could be on very conservative estimate, you know, if they haven't even
Yeah.
started.
Yeah, no, he's hoping that he can be on in 15 minutes. So I'm.
So
not
then
sure.
he has to make his presentation.
Yeah, yeah. Let me just ask.
Ask if we should reschedule.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because we could. Let me just do a quickie text here on that. Yeah, what I was going to say is that, you know, he's going to be working on a sort of an updated report, you know, as part of the update to the 2013 plan, obviously, that this whole survey informs. And our timing with PVPC runs out in December, and I know he's put in beyond whatever number of hours we were probably granted, but I'm hoping that we're not going to lose him in the middle of this. And I think he's so committed to what he's been doing that won't really be an issue. But at the same time, I really am more conscious about maximizing his time. So I know he's got a lot of irons in the fire as well with various committees.
He can't wrap it up until he gets that last section from Ed.
Yeah, on the open space one,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's a different
I
one.
know, yes.
Yeah, a
that's
different
right.
one, but yeah, but he's been working on a variety of things here. Not answering me just now, so.
Maybe he's presenting. No.
Well, because one of my other thoughts and questions was whether or not we were going to need to reach out to Lucy or Martha or anybody in town hall to update any basic facts and figures, from housing sales to population to voters. I mean, I don't know what, but if we thought we needed to get any of that recent data, and or Cindy, you might know, or Francine, maybe if you were involved in it too, on the update of the open space plan, did some of that information get asked for already, and therefore we don't need to worry about it? We can use it from whatever was given to the open space update crew.
I believe it was.
Okay, good.
Cindy?
I think so too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd have to go back. I have the draft, the last draft that pending whatever Ed was going to add to it.
Okay. Okay.
I'd have to go back. Now, can you be more specific about what data points you were thinking about?
Well, just some of those in terms of, you know, the housing issues in particular. So, you know, whether it's new houses, housing sales.
I'm not sure that was in there, to be honest with you. That's not.
The housing was, I'm not sure about, but I know the population was, the distribution of the population was,
Okay.
you know, in terms of
I can look it up. I have it on.
mix, yeah.
No, that's okay. I just didn't know if there was some other, while Ken is working on pulling the report together, and maybe he's probably the one that could tell us more what he might want as an update for sure.
Yeah.
Included in that, but then we could be reaching out to whomever, you know, from the town clerk to the assessor, to get relevant information if that's what we needed to do.
Not until after November 3rd for
For real.
Lucy may need a break after November
She
3rd,
might very
4th,
well.
5th, 6th.
I know, that's true. And or, you know, I don't know if anything even with the water commission or anybody like that might need, I'm just not sure, but there might be an interim task, I guess is what I'm saying, that we could do while he's working on compiling the information for the report. So
I think we need to know from him what he needs us to go back and get, and we'll certainly do that.
okay, yeah, as I haven't seen the open space update plans, so I don't know what got put in there, but that's why I was just wondering if we already had the information, that would save us a whole lot of time to not go back and reinvent that. So I think that's probably something that we can figure out pretty easily. Okay, he's not answering me, guys. So what would your druthers be? I don't really have too much else to talk about.
My druthers would be that we reschedule. And the reason is he's not answering because he's in the middle of something. And I think it would be a relief to him to
Mhm.
know that he doesn't have to like rush through what he's doing and worry about trying to get to us and
Mhm.
respond. And I am speaking for myself. I'd rather read.
I mean, either that we could take a, half an hour break and come back too, right? I think we could do that. We could adjourn and read or
If he's
no.
available, yeah.
if he's available.
What about you, Brittany? Is that okay? Or are you whipped?
Uh,
He works a full day.
Yeah.
I know.
I would vote to reschedule.
Yeah. Okay.
This could also bring Jim Sini in. If he knew, I could text him and let him know.
Yeah.
But
All right. So with that in mind, and Ken is probably, like you say, he could be presenting because he's not answering me. Let's see. So today we are the 27th. Now, he had already told me, so for example, in terms of a presentation to select board, our next select board meeting is November 5th, which is, we had to move it to a Thursday because of the election. And he already has told me that he's not available for the 5th. The next select board meeting is the 17th of November. And Ken's earlier comment to me was that he wasn't sure he might have a planning board meeting. And Cindy, I don't know, would that be your planning board meeting or would that be
no, he's not been attending the Southampton planning boards.
a different one then? Okay. So let me just check that a second.
And I would think that December 1st would be our next scheduled meeting.
Yeah,
If you
okay.
want to pencil him in.
Okay, it says he might be on a third Tuesday. The problem is it being a Tuesday, which is of course the select board meeting night. It may require his attendance at a planning board meeting where he usually serves as a consultant. He would know a little bit more after his next meeting in the first couple of days of November, but maybe the early December one would be the safest way to go. I kind of hate to pull it out that late, but I don't know that we have too much choice.
Well, just speaking for myself, and you can all chime in, I don't have any other evening meetings this week. If he
Mhm.
wanted to jump in for 30 minutes this week, I don't know about the rest of you.
Yeah.
I have tomorrow, it's 4 o'clock, but
Mhm.
Is that Board of Health?
yes, yeah.
Do they last a long time? Like, well, busy time, I'm sure.
Ordinarily not.
Okay. So maybe like 6:30 or 7? You,
That might work.
So maybe Thursday. Do we have time to post it though, guys?
No,
No, too late, right?
yeah,
it's
We would
7
have to
days
do
now,
it-
unless we made it an 8 o'clock meeting.
yes, it'd have to be 8 o'clock.
I think Christina may still be out of town. I think she was gone for the week. I'm not sure of that though.
Why don't I post one anyway, Chris? You want me to or not?
We could just post it as a placeholder. Sure. Why don't we just do
Sure.
that?
All right,
Just-
so for
we
8
can-
o'clock on Thursday, the 29th,
Okay.
and
All right.
then,
Yeah.
and then we'll just kind of like get right to his thing. It might only be 30 minutes and that would be it.
Yeah, that would be the only agenda item. Because after that, on Monday, we've got, Brittany and I've got Concom. Tuesday's the election, and then I'm sure something's probably happening on Wednesday, but I don't remember what it is. So maybe the 4th would be another option if we had to. Because select board is the 5th, so the
Right.
4th would be.
Fourth is planning board.
4th is planning board, that's Wednesday, okay. All right, so I think, yeah, we could try for a quickie on this Thursday at 8 o'clock, and it would just really be just Ken. That would probably be the best thing if he's available. I'm not sure what his
Poor guy.
schedule is, but I hope he is available. He must be in his presentation because he's not getting back to me.
Brittany, are you okay with a quickie, 8 o'clock on Thursday?
Thursday, I'm actually working a 12-hour shift, 9 to 9.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I won't
Oh,
be
you poor
available.
thing.
So that's not going to work either. Okay. So we might have Jim, but we'd lose you.
And you won't have Christina.
No, I'm pretty sure not. I think she told me she was going to be gone this week. She's
Right.
visiting her sister somewhere, I think. She's out of town, I believe.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. So, any other options? I mean, what time's your planning board one, Cindy?
The planning board is in November on the 4th. It's the 1st and 3rd of Wednesday of November,
But what
7
time?
p.m.
7.
7 p.m. We could do 6.
I was going to say, I wonder if a 6 o'clock on Wednesday would work.
It's okay with me.
If Ken could possibly be available. So why don't let's what day is that? The 4th?
That's
Wednesday.
a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Does that work for you?
Oh.
How about you, Brittany?
I don't actually have my schedule yet for next week, so I'm not sure.
Okay. So that would be Wednesday the 4th, though, as the option, right? At 6
Yep.
o'clock.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, Cindy, why don't you do a quickie posting on the, if you haven't, on the 8 o'clock Thursday one?
You want me to do that one? Okay.
Well, let's just do that so that we have a holder if we, if we can't make it, but again, we'd have just 4. So yeah, we'd still be missing Christina and Brittany. We'd only have Jim with us. And I'm not positive that Ken, he sounded like he had a terrible week this week. I'm not sure what he's got going here. So with that in mind, oops, hang on. He's talking with them now. So can we hang in another 5-10 minutes maybe?
Well, he's just saying he's talking now.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't text him to say we were trying to reschedule. So
Why don't you, could you consider asking him? Would
well,
it be
he's
helpful?
in the middle of his
He's in
presentation.
the middle of it. Okay, got it.
So that's the problem.
I mean, we can wait for sure. I mean, I can wait.
Yeah. Everybody want to take a little snack break, drink break, and the meeting is still on. I'll keep here, and we'll, hopefully in another 5 minutes or so he'll be here. That would be 7:45. That's what he was saying.
Can we, could we raise a topic related to this though? So
Sure.
Next step will be, well, there's 2 steps. One is Ken talks to us. Next step is Ken presents to the select board.
Right.
And then from there, what are we expecting from that point?
Well, then I think Ken is still going to be working on the final report, the final update to the plan, which has got to be done sometime before the middle of December, I would say. But I'm hoping that, once it's been presented to select board and planning board, if we do a joint meeting on whatever day this is going to be, that Ken's available, that presentation will then allow for further discussion, especially even at that meeting, maybe at the very end of it, planning and select board can talk about some of the things that they've perhaps noticed or heard or whatever. But if not, it would allow for further discussion, I think, within each of those to say, okay, well, do we have anything here that tells us, especially for select board, what are sort of priorities for the future, 6 months of 2021 might be in terms of what we would be working on, because I think that's what we were trying to do, is to have some sort of a clear roadmap in terms of priorities per the residents' perspectives that would give select board an idea of maybe forming, and personally I think that what could be effective is forming other ad hoc committees to work on something rather than having massive group meetings and having to wait to find everybody. But if we could find, like Dan has done with this proposed IT committee, find like-minded people in town that have got the expertise, have got the interest that would like to do this. And it's, it's not intended to be a long-term thing necessarily, depending on what it is. I mean, the solar and the broadband are two that I think had a lot of interest to it. Hang on. And the Greenway, obviously. Now there's already, let me see if he's here. I'm going to have him try to join. That was Ken. What was I saying? Oh, just that I think the Greenway Committee already exists, so that's one that might have to get sort of reactivated, reinvigorated, perhaps, given what this is showing as a possible priority, and the other two could be some new things. So I'm just hoping that this would, allow for some little, whatever we want to call them, advisory groups, work groups, steering committees, I don't care what we call them, but something that could be formed as a result of this with select board's blessing to say, okay, guys, you've got, a group of 5 people, for example, on any given topic that would be both knowledgeable and interested in doing something about it and helping us kind of sort through the pros and cons of things and what our options are. So that to me would be a big step forward. And if there's, a lot of sort of first places in terms of, what the high priorities are, that, we'd pick 2 or 3 that we'd say that this is what we're committing to focus our energy on and work on in the next, few months, and at least give us some direction on, specific things that can get done other than all the daily business and stuff that we do normally deal with. That would be my hope, I guess, of what this could result in. But I don't know, Francine, your thoughts? You've been on select board longer than I have in terms of what they're thinking, but I mean, I kind of feel like we don't have a real direction per se. It's sort of okay. He's still in the meeting. Okay, I'm going to tell him that we're going to reschedule.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And getting back to the select board, I think it's important to hear. The reason we have all of these committees is because they're supposed kind of subject matter experts in whatever area that they bring forward to the select board. And then based on that, we would make decisions. I'd rather hear more from committees than to have us make decisions.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that information is vital if we're gonna, keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So the other thing I think about some of these ad hocs, especially with, the interest in broadband and in renewable energy, that it's a good way of getting younger people involved. Which we know the IT one already has done. So I think that's important.
Yeah, no, there's definitely interest there. So hopefully they will sign themselves up. But,
So let me add one point. At the last planning board meeting, I asked Paul Fregal, who has been noted to be the chair of the Greenway Committee, if he's still the chair, and he confirmed it. They're not active in that. They're waiting for legislative, state legislative approval of funding.
Right.
And so his answer was kind of short, and basically that's what they're waiting for. So they're not doing anything else until they hear that. But
sure, yeah, that makes
he's still the chair. He's still the chair, and he kind of fills that criteria of younger as well. He's a very capable fellow, and also very busy, unfortunately.
Right. Well, and it may too. I mean, if this turned out to be one of the priorities that the town wanted to work on, it may generate, 2 or 3 more new members too that might want to join the committee that would be able to share that time too. So that, that's, I wouldn't, be surprised by what that happens. So
I think that, the general public does not have a real good understanding of how our town operates, that it really runs primarily on volunteers.
Yeah.
That they're very surprised to hear that people are not paid.
Yeah.
Or getting a tax break, I mean, off of your property tax for the time that you're working. So the wheels do go slowly, and they do for
They
that
do.
reason.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, especially when it's on an all volunteer board, and unlike towns like in Easthampton that's got a planner, a
Yeah.
city planner, it's a different story. I mean, there's so many things that are happening up there, being on top of grants and all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
But why? They've got a dedicated person and some staff to do that. So it's it's a totally different scenario. And in many respects, we're so much more fortunate than many of the smaller towns. I mean, because I think we do have a good core of volunteers here, where the smaller towns are even harder to get meetings together and anything really done. So, in that respect, I think we're ahead of the game. But all right, well, listen, let's not belabor this. Let us say we'll post this for the 8th, and I will talk to Ken as soon as he's done. And if that,
Hold on, not the 8th, no.
The-
You said post it for the 29th.
I'm sorry.
At 8 p.m.
Yes.
Am I right? I want to confirm.
No, you are correct. I'm sorry.
And then we have a secondary discussion of possibly Wednesday, the 4th at 6 p.m.
That is correct. Yes,
But-
thank you.
But I will say the posting that I will do immediately, because
Yeah.
we're at 48 hours momentarily.
Yeah.
Then that is going to be at the 29th at 8 p.m.
Correct.
Okay?
That's correct.
And
Yeah.
I'm going
Sorry.
to put agenda pending.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
fine. No, that'll get us. And as soon as I talk to Ken, I'll confirm with you all what the possible date is for him, because it may be that he's not available for Thursday as well too. So we'll check that out. Okay.
Okay, and I
All
will
right.
text Jim Sini as well, so he knows not to
yeah,
show up.
He
okay?
doesn't need to join in. That's right. Okay. I don't think we have anything else. So with that in mind, can we have a motion to adjourn for tonight?
So moved.
Okay. Second.
A second.
All right. Everybody.
Aye.
Aye. Palmer.
Okay. All right, good. Well, thanks for coming, and we will let you know momentito what's happening for these the next meeting here, okay?
Thank
Okay.
you, Chris.
Thank
All
you.
right. Good. And
Good
tell people to look on the website to look at the survey.
Yes.
I did put it out on Southampton Community Facebook to let people know it was there, but I don't know if people have had a chance to look at it.
Well, tell Robert also.
Oh, yeah. Yep, absolutely. Yep, forgot about that. I will. Okay. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Bye,
Bye,
Malin.
Bye now.
Good night.
And the recording is over.